On today's Locked On NBA Squad Show, free agency has shifted some things. Guys got re-signed, guys got moved. Did anybody actually get better? Let's talk about all that and more right now. Welcome to the Locked On NBA Squad Show. My name is Nick Angstadt, host of the Locked On NBA and Locked On Mavericks podcast. This is the Squad Show where we take over the feed of your favorite Locked On show. It's an open invite for any host to join, talk about anything they want in the NBA. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use that code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download Game Time today. What time is it?
Game time.
Game time. I'm joined today from Locked On Thunder, Rylan Stiles, Locked On Rockets, Kevin Durant's new DM partner, Jackson Gatlin, DeAndre Ayton superfan number one, Brian Kamenetsky, the biggest fan of Jonas Valanciunas this side of the Mississippi, Ryan Blackburn, and the guy that now has to answer to Kristaps Porzingis' doctor, Brad Rowland from Locked On Hawks. We may end up somewhere completely different, gentlemen, but I want to talk about the Rockets first. A lot of people are talking about the Rockets getting Kevin Durant, all these different moves that they've made. I think they've made 9 moves in free agency. Are the Rockets doing too much, or are the Rockets now like in the tier with the Thunder right now? We've got Rylan, we've got Jackson. Might as well start there.
Rockets are about to run the West, everybody. In fact, I'm moving my nameplate over Rylan because Rockets are going to finish with a better record than the. No, we're not actually doing all that. I'm going to back that up a little bit. No, look, I mean, how can you not put the Rockets in the same tiers? At least on paper. On paper, they're contenders, man. I don't see how.
Are we all using the same paper?
I mean, I hope you're using the same paper. My paper looks pretty good, even through Rockets tinted shades. But how does everybody else feel? Come on,
who's buying that? Who's buying the Rockets Kool-Aid again?
Probably a better paper than Nico Harrison's using.
They were a 2
cups.
Seed.
Put the coffee in.
They were a 2 seed in a super competitive West, averaging 28 points a game. And so now they have Kevin Durant.
And only 3 made threes. It was ridiculous. No, yeah. Look, they were a 52-win team. They added Kevin Durant. Like, they might crack 60 wins this next year, and they're gonna meet the Thunder in the Western Conference Finals. It's those 2 teams. Like, let's just fast forward to next May because that's what's happening, Rylan.
Okay, Jackson. Question for you: you have 17 power forwards on the roster. Who's actually going to shoot threes for this team outside of KD and Fred VanVleet?
Dang.
Jabari Smith Jr. is going to shoot threes and be just fine at it. Reed
4.
Shepard is going to shoot threes and be
Okay,
great at it. Aaron Holiday is actually going to play some minutes and shoot some threes. Tari Eason's an okay shooter. Give him some respect.
DFS shoots
DFS
threes.
will shoot threes. There you go. Like
boy.
their shooting woes are a thing of the past. They will no longer be a bottom 5 3-point shooting team. We're shooting for middle of the pack mediocrity here in Houston.
Just wait till
that's
he's
good enough, right? The Thunder just won a
lows.
championship, middle of the pack 3-point shooting.
Yeah, if you got the elite defense, then the shooting doesn't really matter as much.
I am now picturing Clint Capella taking threes right now, and I've seen plenty of that in practices. It's not going to work out very well for you. Lots of 2 big lineups. It's going to be a lot of fun.
We've seen Steven Adams take threes in warm-ups. Anybody been at a game where you see Steven Adams warm up? I've definitely seen him take
John
a 3.
Corrales on the squad show right now. Why are we talking about 3-point shooting so much?
We actually had to trade John Corrales to another network in order to get under the second apron. Like we had to lose that salary. We had to buy
Network to be named later.
So I do like Houston, though. I think that they're going to be a fantastic team during the regular season as long as Kevin Durant stays healthy, and surely he'll stay healthy throughout the entire season. I don't see any way that's something that comes back to bite them.
Honestly, though, they're built to withstand a little bit of KD missing some time. I think you go into it with the expectation that KD's probably going to miss, anywhere from 20 to 25 games, and they're not going to just suddenly crater without KD. I mean, they won plenty of games last year where Jalen Green didn't show up as their leading scorer. So if you just suddenly remove your leading scorer from the equation, this Rockets team has plenty of experience doing that this past year. So I think they'll be just fine, even in the games where KD misses. The goal is to have him healthy for a 16-game run in the postseason.
Not far be it from me to further pour the Rockets Kool-Aid, but they're literally changing Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks' shot selection for Kevin Durant's shot selection. That in and of itself to me is enough to give him 5 more wins in the regular season. My question though is Reed Shepard. Is he he's the backup point guard? How much are they going to ask of him? We didn't see a lot of him last year at all.
A lot. look, they gave him a shot last year. They gave him like the first quarter of the season to see if he was ready for the NBA. He wasn't. He was deer in headlights. He did not look ready for it. Then they pivoted to Aaron Holiday. There is a lot riding on his shoulders to be able to make things work as the backup point guard, which I think kind of speaks volumes about how invested the organization is in him and how much they really believe that he's ready to take that step forward. Near the end of the season and some of the spot minutes that he would get in like garbage time moments, or even a few of the games that he started near the end of the year, he looked like a completely different player than he did from, the bright lights moments earlier in the season. So I think for a steady like 12 to 15 minute a night role backing up Fred VanVleet next year, with Fred and Amin Thompson kind of handling the primary ball handler responsibilities, and then obviously a lot of the offense going through Şengün and KD as well, he'll be just fine in that role.
The other thing too is like the Rockets still have so much stuff that they can use, whether you're talking appealing players, draft picks, whatever to acquire. If you find you need another ball handler, that's not going to be hard for them to come up with.
No, not whatsoever. And I want to like just really quickly, in case anybody else here decides to bring up this topic of discussion, this is not a championship or bust move for the Rockets. Like I keep seeing that terminology thrown around, and it's like the dumbest thing, because championship
you
or bust.
did just say it's two teams, and we're going to simulate to the end of the season. Two teams that matter. You already said that. That was the first thing you said.
But that implies that, like, yes, championship is the goal while you have KD, but it's not or bust if it goes wrong. Like, it would be disappointing if the Rockets didn't at least make it to the Western Conference Finals after this move and match up with the Thunder. But it's also not the or bust part of it, because that implies that you like gave up your future in order for a shot to win a title right now. The Rockets still have a super bright future and a chance to win with KD for the next 2 or 3 years.
So it would really be disappointing to you, Jackson, if they don't get the West Finals, which means that they're going to have to play, in all likelihood, one of Oklahoma City or Denver in the second round. Losing to one of those two teams in the second round would be disappointing for this Houston team. Like, I think that's still taking a step forward, especially if they battle hard in that second round series.
Depends on the outcome of the series, right? If you get like manhandled by the Thunder or the Nuggets, like in a gentleman's sweep, whatever, that would be super disappointing. If you go all the way, a competitive 7-game series, whatever, and you just come up a little bit short, couple different things break your way, and you're talking about advancing versus not advancing, I think that's a different discussion.
I would agree. I think it's Houston, Denver, OKC.
I want to know how do you feel, Rylan, looking at this Houston team?
Yeah, Rylan, are you threatened?
Are you worried at all, looking at it from a Thunder perspective?
I think that they're interesting. They gave the Thunder some stylistic problems a year ago without having these additions. And then now, the only thing that I'm left questioning is how they're going to jostle this front court, and like how often are they going to play double bigs, and how often are they going to maybe not have their best defensive lineup out there, because the way that the Thunder were able to navigate having a middle of the pack 3-point shooting team in the playoffs, and in the playoffs, a terrible 3-point shooting team, was that they were so elite defensively with every lineup that they put out there. And whenever you put a lineup out there with Şengün and Kevin Durant, perhaps you're going to have some lapses that you otherwise wouldn't if you're Houston. But I do think that it's Houston and Denver in the West that are the two biggest threats to Oklahoma City.
It's pretty clear, like Minnesota losing Gilgeous-Alexander Walker, they're probably going to be just a little bit worse. You never know what they can do during the season, though. They seem to find ways to continue to add talent. I don't really see the Lakers challenging at that level, though. Brian, sorry, DeAndre Ayton probably not gonna be digging deep to lead some playoff series wins here.
Ryan's not buying into the dominating going on in LA right now. Okay,
here I will look. It is. The Lakers are trying to just sort of keep up with the Joneses here, keep up with Houston.
The Dylan Joneses.
Keep up with Denver if you can, not fall. And obviously, DeAndre Ayton doesn't do that necessarily when you look at what everybody, he's not acquiring Kevin Durant. It's not the same thing. But even if
why wouldn't you just go get KD though? Is Rob Pelinka dumb? He could have just gone and gotten KD.
I mean, I guess the GM wouldn't give it to him. But
does he have a history of just getting a star player from another GM?
I'm assuming,
did Rob Pelinka forget his cup of coffee when he tried to talk to Brian
25
Gregory?
for 25 and Luka trade jokes on the squad show.
Just even the frustration of having DeAndre Ayton drop into the Lakers' lap in an offseason where they wouldn't otherwise be able to find a center was enough to keep Matt away from this show. So, he's so deep as his Luka PTSD. But I look at it this way: even if you stipulate that Ayton fixes none of the professionalism bad habits that he's built up over the last few years, and all of it stays exactly the same, he is still so much better than Jackson Hayes that the Lakers are significantly better than they were at the end of last season. You know, I like the LaRavia signing. I think that will replace 75% of 80% of what you were going to get from DFS. So I'm not worried about that. And then you're swapping out Jackson Hayes, who is a replacement level NBA player, for a guy who has never averaged less than 14 and 10. You know, for all of our problems with Ayton, and they are myriad, he's still a pretty productive guy who does all of the things that you would want a center to do on a Luka-led team. He's a good pick and roll player. He can get above the rim to finish. He's a good offensive rebounder. You know, he can do all that stuff. So, I mean, just they're replacing Jackson Hayes. So that's the guy. You don't measure Ayton against the ideal center that the Lakers could pick if they could pick anyone. You measure him against who is he replacing and what was available. And they're paying him less than the Spurs are paying Luke Cornett.
I'm just glad that LeBron feels exactly the same way as all of that.
He might not.
You know? LeBron crashing out the first time he watches DeAndre Ayton. Like Ayton's gonna sit there and watch a rebound and watch like 3 or 4 Lakers fight over the same rebound. I think we all know the play I'm talking about here from his Phoenix days. And LeBron's just gonna crash out magnificently. It's gonna be awesome to witness.
Get the Rich Paul statements ready.
Jackson Hayes picked up a foul every 13 seconds. I mean, again,
the thing about Ayton though, it's not about like
no, Nick, we're talking about Jackson Hayes. Come on, get the
idea. The thing about Jackson Hayes is that it's more about with Ayton, the lows are like he could check out, and he could check out much more.
There's also some pressure though of like not. Like this is your last chance. I think this is your last chance in the league. Well, if you can't get the professionalism stuff right next to LeBron and Luka and the Lakers, then every other team's just going to quit trying to make it happen. To where
that's worked out for guys before, right?
It has.
How many times has the last chance guy on a LeBron team worked out?
Last chance you ever watched it.
If I already had like 200 million in the bank and this was my last chance to like establish myself before I was run out of the league, but I'm sitting on $200 million or whatever it is, I might be out of the league. I'm not sure that would be enough.
Can you drive down an icy driveway, Brian? That's the question.
He was born in the Bahamas.
Can you turn into the skid? That's the question.
The man has never seen snow. Give him a break.
He also sleeps on an air mattress every night as a $200 million man.
He's frugal. So you want that kind of
your point that he won't care about the next contract.
Would you rather him be Malik Beasley? I mean, what do you want?
At least he and LeBron can bond over that.
I love the Lakers mafia swerve.
Like that's a good thing.
I love this Lakers mafia swerve of that Ayton is actually underrated.
Brian is legitimately not part of that, and yet he is still buying all the Ayton Kool-Aid right now.
It's not that he's underrated. It's that he doesn't suck. Like you think you look at the reactions of DeAndre Ayton and think he's trash. He's not. I'm not talking about a guy going out and being an all-star and this is going to be the year he puts it together and, he's going to see his talent and we're looking at, 23 and 10, baby. Like, no, but he doesn't suck. Like the narrative is swung too far in the wrong direction on Ayton. I will say it again. If he does nothing to fix any of the issues that he has from a professionalism standpoint, he makes the Lakers 65% better at the center position than they were at the end of last year. Just because Jackson Hayes isn't very good and his backup was Alex Len, Christian Coloco, Trey Jemison, like those are the centers the Lakers finished the season with.
Can I call out somebody on this stream?
Today's episode of the Locked On NBA Squad Show brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create that account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA to get $20 off your first purchase. You can use Game Time to do a whole lot of things and go see a lot of different things. Sports, movies, concerts, all kinds of different things you can do with Game Time. Go check it out. See what's available in your area. And When you do, you're going to see the panoramic views from your seat, exactly where you're going to sit, what you're going to see, what's maybe in the way, obstructing it, all that. You're going to see everything you're going to pay at the front. There's no hidden fees. What you see is what you pay on Game Time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download that app. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA. That's all one word, LOCKEDON NBA for $20 off. Terms apply. Again, create that account, redeem the code LOCKEDONNBA. You get $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today to go to concerts, comedy, theaters. I've used it for all kinds of different things with Game Time. Download the Game Time app. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed.
Can I call somebody out really quick? Ryan?
Yeah.
We were talking about the Thunder and the Rockets being the top of the West, and you got nothing to say about the Nuggets right now. I think the Nuggets are squarely in that mix. What's going on?
I'm
team
biding
here.
my time, just like the Nuggets.
We
Everybody.
talked about the Lakers. We talked about DeAndre Ayton. Let's
clear,
talk about the winners of the
Ryan just like
offseason so
Jokic
far.
just sees horses running around his
Yeah,
head.
you know,
Like, he's just sitting.
I'm very, very much like Jokic in that regard. We're just gonna wait until October comes around. But no,
How
I
drunk are
think,
you right now?
I think that
How drunk are all of us right
I think
now?
that Denver has a chance to win 60 games. 60. I did not think that they would like get anywhere close to that during a Jokic tenure because one, they didn't have a good backup center ever before. Now they've got Jonas Valanciunas, who like, hey, Brian, he might be better than DeAndre Ayton. I just want to let you know.
And Deron Holmes, who also might be better than DeAndre Ayton.
But either way, like now you've got Cam Johnson, who's I think a better player than Michael Porter, though they're in the same tier. They got back Bruce Brown, who's just going to be wearing cowboy hats all around Denver and hanging out some shots to people, things like that. And Tim Hardaway Jr. is a good spot, so they're back. Like this is a team that they were the two big weaknesses for them were that they were so narrow around that core four, around what Jokic was doing, and they had zero depth whatsoever. And they've addressed both this offseason.
Look, from a Thunder's perspective, they should hope that you and Jackson are absolutely right, that these two teams go win 60 games, and then like the Thunder, the 1 seed, you guys are the 2-3 seed, and then the Thunder don't have to worry about it until the West Finals because they're trying to not only repeat for the first time since those Warriors teams, but just simply get out of the second round or better since those Warrior teams. So it's going to be very tough for the Thunder to pull this off, and if they have to play Houston or Denver any earlier, then the chances of them falling by the way of what these typical champions have done grow exponentially. So the Thunder should hope that these two teams are really good. I think that Denver is a bigger threat to OKC than Houston because of Jokic and because of just how they play basketball really bends the Thunder style of defense in a way that no other team's been able to do to this point consistently. And then Houston, is right there as well. But I think it is a clear top 3 in the West.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I didn't think that they could turn this around. The fact that they were able to trade Michael Porter Jr.'s contract is crazy. And they got a better player.
I want to take the squad show hat off for 1 second. I know we're supposed to poke fun at each other, but like I'm actually so impressed with Denver's moves. Like they walked away, being able to like
say nice things on the squad show.
Oh, what? I thought we were supposed to be mean to each other.
Shut up, Jackson.
You have to be mean the entire time. Yeah.
I just want to clarify for Matt Moore, wherever he is listening, that the only reason I'm on the squad show is because I finished my homework in time. So, all right. No, but like actually, how weird is it that like next year, the winner of the Western Conference might just be the team that actually like ekes out the 1 seed, like between the Thunder, the Rockets, and the Nuggets. And I think you give the benefit of the doubt to the Thunder. They're the youngest team. They just did it this past season. They should be able to truck through the regular season with ease again. But at the same time, like it's nothing is a given, right? They sustained some major injuries this year and were able to power through those. But like if you lose SGA for an extended period of time for any reason, like whoever wins the 1 seed in the West might just cakewalk to the finals if they don't have to deal with the other two teams.
Or if the Thunder have a significant injury that actually prevents a player from playing, which J-Dub, obviously, he got hurt and was playing through some stuff and was still fantastic in the finals, so credit to him. But like Denver missed out on having Aaron Gordon in Game 7. I don't think they would have won that game either way, but it certainly didn't help that they didn't have a good version.
I still don't know who on the Nuggets guards DeAndre Ayton, so you guys figure that out.
I have a player who
the altitude guards DeAndre Ayton.
Can I wager here? I've got a guy who's averaging 14.5 points and 10 rebounds on his per 36 numbers. Anybody want to wager a guess who that is? Because it might be better than DeAndre Ayton.
Is it
Jock Landale?
Jock Landale. There we go. Would you rather have DeAndre Ayton or Jock Landale? Because they're both 14 and 10 guys, baby.
You laugh, but I was actually like, when all of this stuff was happening, I'm like, ooh, Jock Landale might get released.
how down bad do you have to be like, ooh, Jock
okay,
Landale?
This is my point. Like, this is what we were doing.
The litmus test. Brian, did you ever once consider Dwight Powell from the Dallas Mavericks?
Dwight Powell didn't consider himself a
didn't get
basketball
that
player
bad.
today.
We still have Maxey. We don't need Dwight.
They were best friends, and it would be the power of friendship
Pair
to
'em
get
up.
them back together. He was also in the Rajon Rondo trade.
The Rockets already disassembled the power of friendship by stealing Dodo.
Who owns the power of friendship team right now?
Not even Luka could keep his best friend on the team. I don't think Maxey has that kind of pull.
It's probably the Thunder who are the power of friendship team. Like they have to be until those guys make money and they decide.
Thunder, the Knicks with the Villanova crew, but that's it.
Yeah.
Is going from Tom Thibodeau to Mike Brown an upgrade to anyone?
Yeah.
No.
Side grade.
Yeah.
It feels like a lateral move to me.
I think it's a marginal upgrade only because Mike Brown is more willing to experiment in the regular season, but I think him and Tibbs both have their postseason limitations, right? I think they've both been proven out as not the best, quickest postseason coaches, but I thought Mike Brown was okay the last time that what was the last Kings playoff series against the Warriors when they lost?
The only one.
The only one. Yeah. But like De'Aaron Fox got hurt. I think they win that series if De'Aaron Fox is healthy. Mike Brown had coached well, but he was also coaching his former team, which he like kind of knew intimately. And I don't know how much of a leg up that was, probably a lot. But I think it's a slight upgrade. It's like a B to a B plus, but it's still going to be a problem for them probably.
I thought it was pretty underrated how creative Tibbs got in the playoffs when they're making the conference finals and doing some impressive things, just trying to manipulate the fact that Karl-Anthony Towns was Karl-Anthony Towns and like that they still had to kind of make up some of those differences. But no, it'll be fascinating. I think Mike Brown's okay. He's very clearly okay. And like they've got Jordan Clarkson now sick.
Yeah, how much is it going to be? Just okay. They got Clarkson. They added to Yabusele as well. Like they got a couple depth pieces. Like and just if you get back into the season and everybody's healthy from the jump, like how much is it just going to be like? Okay, Mike Brown just like actually has like a solid like 10 deep NBA rotation that he can rely on and will rely on, as opposed to Tibbs running his guys into the ground starting in November.
And the two best teams in the East are out of it, right? No Boston, no Indiana to have to try to get through. He might just sort of fall into a better, more success. Like the Knicks might fall into the NBA Finals because the Cavs love to throw up on themselves in the playoffs. The Celtics aren't in it. The Pacers aren't in it. And you look around and you're like, I don't know who else is in it. Maybe the Hawks. I don't know.
That's a perfect segue to the Hawks. They're going to be a top four team. No, top four team in the East. Your top four in the East next year are going to be Cavs, Knicks, Hawks, Magic. Right there. Those are your top four seeds.
It's an extremely bizarre timeline that we're in, where Wes is bringing up the Hawks as a finals team. Hawks and finals in the same breath. Lots of FanDuel graphics about how the Hawks have the best title odds changed in the last like two weeks. I don't know where I am. It's like I've gone back a decade. It's very, very strange. And it's not like completely preposterous. If everything goes well, it's like the East is pretty open. Shrug emoji. Like I totally get it. It's fun. Porzingis never plays, but if he's there, sign me up.
Odds to make the finals. Or is this odds to win the finals or make odds to win the finals? Hawks plus 3,000. Boston Celtics plus 3,700.
Normal sport. Just a very normal thing that you just said there. Boston won the championship like 13 months ago, and now they're longer odds than the Hawks to win the championship.
Don't remind me. I still remember the confetti falling on me. Just thinking about like the one time that a team had to face the Celtics at basically full strength. And then they just...
But Atlanta's better than Boston for next year.
Oh, they are. Yeah, right now.
Oh, yeah, no. It's wild.
I mean, just if you needed to design a team that could protect Trae Young defensively,
they did it.
I think they did it.
Yeah. And
I think it also too is like everybody forgot Johnson missed the second half of last year.
On top of all these great moves, they get Johnson back. They're gonna be awesome. They're gonna be fun to watch. League pass top 5.
As long as Kennard is not on the court with Trae, they'll be all right. Keep Luke Kennard away from Trae Young. Everybody else is well suited to surround him, protect him. And yeah, you mentioned Johnson. They won 40 games. Like no one was excited about the Hawks last year. But winning 40 games with Jalen missing like 45 games was actually a pretty solid outcome for that roster. And now they're like a lot better and a year older. So I feel
How
pretty
much
good.
are you guys celebrating the Gilgeous-Alexander Walker signing? Because Atlanta used to be the team that always talked about getting free agents and never got them. And then you just got the one guy that everybody, with a full mid-level exception, every fan base was like, let's just get Gilgeous-Alexander Walker. Atlanta came away from the NAW sweepstakes as the winners.
It is kind of on brand that it would be a non-famous free agent that everybody wants.
Right.
The Hawks have only gotten one famous free agent in my adult life, and it was Dwight Howard. In case you were wondering how that went.
Time.
He is actually the cousin of the Finals MVP.
Oh, so is he really? I hadn't heard that.
Nepo famous. Like
that's a new thing. But no, I mean, the short answer is like, yeah, it's kind of surprising, and it was also like out there for a week. It's like, hey, the Hawks are the favorites, and I'm like, the Hawks are the what? On what? On the number one free agent that's available. And also, he doesn't have like a starting spot guarantee. Like sometimes it's like, oh, you can see why a guy would go that one spot. He's not going to start, I don't think.
Right.
In Atlanta, he's exactly the same thing in Atlanta that he did in Minnesota.
He's signing up to be a 6th or 7th man and like willingly doing it and like clearly wants to be there. So it's it's different.
I'm sick of these cities with geographical advantages. This is awful. Atlanta comes away with all the top tier free agents.
Yeah.
Great airport. What's the temperature and humidity rate outside in Houston right now?
It's god awful.
It's Hawks exceptionalism again.
Yeah.
No, but actually, so obviously, look, a lot of this health permitting with Porzingis, right? But is Porzingis a little bit of also an asset here as a $30 million expiring contract? And could the Hawks potentially actually, if his health struggles continue, right, could they not just flip? I mean, Okongwu's a starting caliber center. Okongwu can start just fine. Could they not then flip Porzingis and an asset or two into something else? He probably does if Porzingis isn't healthy.
No, I was going to say there's a chance he starts even if Porzingis is there. I don't know yet. I haven't heard definitively, but like if they want to manage Porzingis, if they kind of get him on board to play 25 minutes a game to stay healthy, like it makes total sense to me. But you're right. If he's just like out, I mean, there's the weird illness with Porzingis. If he's just like can't play, then yeah, he's a giant expiring contract, and they also paid a price to get him, where it's like basically no risk at all. And it's fine if he doesn't play. I mean, they want him to play. Obviously, he raises their ceiling quite a bit. But if he just can't stay on the floor, it's like, oh, all right, you traded the 22nd pick in the draft to get off Terrence Mann. That's not a big price to get a true like top 30 guy when he's healthy.
I just want to. Oh, go ahead.
No, I just want to point some math things out. If you just add Kristaps Porzingis' expiring salary, Luke Kennard's expiring salary, Zachary Richey's rookie salary, and throw, I don't know, 2 first-round picks that might be owed by Milwaukee back to the Bucks, it pretty much matches Giannis's salary.
There are multiple ways. No, there are multiple ways for that to happen. The other one is Wisconsin native Jalen Johnson, who grew up there and is from there, and would be probably appetizing to the Bucks if they wanted to do that. I'm not saying they're going to do that, but if Giannis makes himself available, it's the Hawks. You have to have him wanting to go to the Hawks, which I always like. Hey, that's kind of a small wrinkle. As much as we're talking about the Hawks in a good light right now, it's not usually the destination that someone like that would pick.
What if he told him Chick-fil-A was invented in Atlanta?
That might sell him.
Is that enticing enough to Giannis?
There are a lot of Chick-fil-A's. There's one in every corner here.
If the city promises him only in Atlanta, they'll open on Sundays.
Just one time.
What was that commercial where the guy has the Taco Bell cantina like in his house? Like, could they do that in the house?
The NFL commercial. Yeah.
Hey, Taco Bell's a Nuggets thing. Keep out.
They're not bad.
I'm saying Chick-fil-A. Just steal their idea.
It
just
would be,
put one in his house. Little booth.
Very Atlanta.
Little high school kid that just like works there all the time.
Well,
that's what Chick-fil-A.
Who are the biggest losers like in free agency right now, other than the Lakers, of course?
The Lakers won because
4 hours ago it was the Lakers. But
now they're winning.
No, we're just not the losers. I mean,
would you have traded Dorian for DeAndre Ayton? Like,
absolutely. Yes.
Oh. Yes. I would not have done that. Just on the record, I would not have done that.
I would have done that. Brian, I'm with you on this. You know what? I'm on the Ayton train with you. Let's do this.
I love DFS.
They're dominating the squad show together, guys.
We're reading off the cliff.
Dorian Finney-Smith is a 32-year-old, decent but on the downside 3-and-D wing, that no longer can really guard down. Like, he can't guard 2s and 1s anymore. And like, it's a great signing for the Rockets. I'm not taking away from what Houston did here, but for what the Lakers needed, do they need that, or do they need a center who isn't Jackson Hayes? And so, like, yes,
they traded in this scenario, they're trading the 7th, 8th guy in their roster for a starter. That's a no-brainer.
Yes.
You do that every time.
Yeah, absolutely. The only reason, like, we talked about Ayton on a show last week, and the reason not to do it is because to get to $35 million, the Lakers would have had to trade like 4 rotation players. And DeAndre Ayton's not that good. But for $8 million and giving up essentially DFS, but then you sign LaRavia, I mean, to me, it's kind of a no-brainer.
I think, look, you do it in a vacuum. It's a no-brainer in a vacuum, but I think the idea here is that, like, if you could have kept DFS and gotten literally anybody else, then like that would have been a better possible outcome. Jock Landale makes $8 million. You could have had him.
Why does Jock Landale make $8 million?
Brandon Carlson,
he's a living, breathing TPE. Just let him live, okay? That's all he is. It's a non-guaranteed contract all 4 years. It's like the greatest thing ever.
I was excited at the prospect of them acquiring Jock Landale. I'm not lying. I'm like,
I want you to know, Jock Landale has gotten more run on this show than he did all season on Locked On Rockets. I just want you guys to know that right now.
And look, Denver's had a better offseason. The Rockets have had a better offseason. The Hawks have had a better. We don't need to be talking about the Lakers that much, although I'm happy to. It's good for traffic.
Thank you.
But I'm just saying, like, this is a very significant signing for the Lakers to maintain a team that still has a second-team All-NBA player in LeBron James, a All-Star adjacent player in Austin Reeves, and skinny Luka.
Hey, you got to watch those angles on those pictures. You got to get it on video, and you
European diet, man. I've seen it.
No, skinny Luka is in the same light as Hoodie Mello and Ben Simmons hitting off-season threes until we see it in person.
New Lakers owner Mark Walter is going to import every ounce of food in the facility from Europe this year.
I would like to point something out about
because he's a
DeAndre
billionaire.
They're all
that has nothing
walking,
to do with Luka's
They're
diet.
going to walk everywhere. It's going to be very continental.
They're going to walk everywhere.
Yeah, they're gonna walk from Lakers games down the street to
That's what they're
the
going to
Clipper
get.
Stadium. That's it. That's as much walking as they're getting.
They're going to, throw a couple coins at street musicians. It's going to be great, and Luke is going to stay skinny.
Wait, can we go back to, did anybody really lose free agency?
The Sacramento Kings.
The Kings.
They got Schroeder.
Sick.
I know.
The Sacramento Kings. Yeah,
They at least got somebody.
they did.
They sacrificed Jonas Valanciunas to
They
do
did
it.
lose.
The Sacramento
Jonas.
Kings went back to like when Alan Crabb was making $20 million a year or whatever, and they're like, let's just do that with this guy.
And then they tried to give up Monk too. The thing that I didn't get,
They're actively trying to trade him.
Like, why would you try to get Schroeder and then you also try to give up Monk? Like, I would just keep both of them.
Because now they had Dennis Schroeder, and they're like, oh man, we did the thing again. Where we have too many point guards, too many guards who don't fit together, except like a way worse version of it.
Well, and they went from Jonas to Dario Saric. And I was waiting for
Dario's
minutes.
going to get bought out.
I was waiting for minutes after that trade. Like, that's all? Like, there's nothing else? There's nothing else?
No way Dario is staying on the Kings.
Minutes is a long time in free agency, Brad. I don't know.
Very Chicago Bulls style trade where it's like, that's it, huh?
Bulls have been tough too.
Okay.
We have totally, as a society, wormholed the idea that Alan Crabb made almost $77 million at playing NBA basketball.
I have never forgotten it.
That is a spectacular poll, Wes.
I mean, the Nets gave him that 4-year offer sheet and it got matched.
All right. Who has the brightest future between the Bulls, the Wizards, and the Nets?
The Wizards.
Wizards.
Have you looked at the Nets?
Clearly, right?
Has
like
anyone
the
looked at
Wizards.
the Nets roster?
Yeah, it's horrible.
The Nets are legitimately probably going to start Yegor Demon, Cam Thomas, Terrence Mann, Michael Porter Jr., and Nick Claxton.
It's not bad.
Demon's terrible.
Not bad. Not bad for what?
It's a 10 seed
You
in
don't
the
know if
East.
he's terrible.
10 seed in the East right there, Nick.
At what point can Cam Thomas and Michael Porter Jr. look off each other at the same time?
Yeah.
Is that
At the start of
possible?
his podcast or on the court?
Yes.
Thank God they got Yegor Dimon because, my God, they need somebody to spoon feed these guys.
That Nets roster, just pull it up one day. Just look at it for a little while and just kind of stare.
I'm just thinking about, and like, I love what Michael Porter gave to Denver. He being the locker room leader for the Brooklyn Nets and that group. That
He's
group
not-
specifically
they're not
is
gonna
going to be
conspiracy
funny.
Like he's not going to stay there forever, right? Like
What are they going to do?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
they made 5 first-round picks, kept them all, and they're all projects. All 5 of them are
Yeah.
projects.
Yeah.
They didn't like try to like get an older guy who was like a low ceiling player. Nope, we're taking 5.
That's what it's like.
projects.
That's the hardest part. It's not that I have no idea if any of those guys are good or not, but how do you give 12 players that all need development enough time to actually?
Did you hear their
Do it.
starting lineup? I just rushed it off.
Hey, Brian, 15 losses. That's how you, or sorry, 15 wins. That's how you do it.
15
Okay, they're gonna have 15 wins all season long.
No, I get it. But
Garbage
Washington,
time.
I like Washington. Like there were like
Washington's
3 or 4 players that I would take, 5 players I would happily take off that roster.
Yeah. The Wizards should no longer be in those conversations. They have
too many dudes.
Yeah, Brian wants all the geriatrics from the Wizards roster.
Yeah.
Do the Toronto Raptors replace them?
Just kind of like, what are you doing type of thing. What direction are they going?
Still the Bulls.
What are they doing?
I don't know
That
what to
team's
make
still
out of
Chicago.
them.
Yeah.
They
Brad, you really like the Murray Boyles guy. You drafted him in our mock draft.
I did like Murray Boyles. I still do. I don't know. Toronto's like the worst place for him, maybe. Like he's a very Raptors player.
That's what I thought.
I know why they like it, although they just changed their front office. So I don't even know who's evaluating players for the Raptors at the moment. Maybe it's Bobby Webster.
I drafted him and then got fired.
But I think they said after that they already knew he was leaving because it was like the next day. It was very odd.
It's true. It wasn't parted ways. It wasn't
there a rumor that Kaman Malawach would have been the pick if Masai was going to pick him?
I mean, I would believe that. I don't know.
I mean,
haven't seen that,
he's
but-
from Africa. I feel like Masai is always going to pick those guys.
Yeah, I mean, I felt bad for Murray Boyles because it's like, oh, you got to go play behind Scotty Barnes, who's like the good version of that kind of player, but it's like they don't really fit together. And then they had paid Jakob Poeltl like $1 billion. I don't know what they're doing. It's the Raptors.
They're better than the Nets.
They have some decent players. It's just I don't know what their plan
They're better
is.
than the Nets for sure.
They're doing.
Oh, they're leaps and bounds better than the Nets.
Yeah.
To be very clear.
The
The
Nets
Nets
don't have
really
a single
steer their
player
own.
that would start on the Raptors. I don't think.
I mean,
Who are the bottom 5 teams in the East this next season? What the hell? Like this is kind of
Nets.
hard to pick.
Okay,
Nets and Wizards for
Nets
sure.
and
Okay, for sure.
Wizards.
That's 2.
The Hornets are going to be in a weird.
I mean, they're trying. They're going to try. I don't know if they're going to be good, but they're going to try.
They signed
They're
Mason
Are
Plumlee.
they
Mason
trying
Plumlee's
or
their
are they
starting center.
trying?
I mean, they're trying more. I would say.
Watch out for
They're trying
Trey Mann.
more.
Are the Sixers going to start trending Watford?
The Sixers
Sorry.
could be down there
The
again.
Sixers could be if Embiid can't play, and we never know if he can play.
Yeah,
they could
there's
be-
no
Shout
team
out
in the
to-
NBA. No team in the NBA has a wider expected win range than the Sixers.
Shout out to the mock draft squad show where we were all talking about the Sixers, and I think it was Philip from Locked On Magic that was like, yeah, and if Joel Embiid can play, and he's like being all like nice about it, and shout out to our new guy on Locked On Sixers, Mark Farzetta, that goes, Embiid is cooked. There's no chance that he plays the same way, and it just goes straight into it, and everybody lost it because we hadn't heard a Sixers guy like come out and say it like that.
It's like, hey, well, there it is.
Are we 100% sure that the Heat don't land somewhere in the bottom 5?
Whoa!
Oh, Wes. All right, here we go, Wes.
Fighting words.
If everything goes to plan, they will be in the bottom 5. Let's go, baby. We need to have one good pick. Let's go.
Pulling the ripcord right now.
They beat the Hawks in the play-in tournament last year to get into the playoffs, kept their pick for 2026. That's
But
the move.
The Sixers with moderate health will be better than the Heat. The Raptors
There is
could
no
be better.
moderate health, right? Like the Sixers, to your
That's
point
true.
before, it was like they're either going to win 55 games or they're going to win 25 games.
Yeah,
there
that's
is
true.
no in the middle for them.
That's true. The
Yeah.
Raptors could be better than the Heat. The
They
Bulls probably
probably won't.
won't be, but I guess they
Can-
could be.
If
The Bulls
Are we-
won more games than the
They
Heat
did
last
win more
year.
games last year. Orlando will be. The Pistons will be. The Bucks will be. The Pacers still will be.
Mhm.
Knicks will be. Celtics will be.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's not going to be good, Wes. Sorry.
It's gonna be great.
No,
Are you
he
kidding?
said it's according to plan. It is
Yeah.
going to be good.
It's
Are
great.
are we sure Giannis is like gonna play 70 games? Because if he doesn't, that team is
Yeah, that team
That's
is
a pretty bad team.
that team's
The Bucks
a
could
mess.
be the Bucks could definitely do
Kevin
it.
Porter Jr. is leading that team to 50 wins. How dare you?
I mean, you get one Giannis ankle turn and things go pretty sideways for Milwaukee, and the Hawks would love that just for the
Yeah,
not-
keep
not
that
that-
powder
not that we're
dry
gonna get hurt.
in Houston.
Yeah,
Is Kuzma the third best player on their team?
Who's the second?
Yeah.
Miles
Miles
Turner.
Turner. Miles Turner.
Yikes! Yeah, Miles Turner was like the 5th best player on the Pacers in the finals.
I like that move from Milwaukee. Like, I'm glad that he got Miles, but then I'm just like, you look at the rest of the roster and you're like, damn, this sucks. Like, this is bad.
For what reason? Like, why did you?
They did it to screw over the Pacers. That was the reason. That was all the incentive they needed.
If that's the truth, then I respect it. Otherwise, I don't get it. But
it is.
I made this comparison before. Like they look like a college team, like a mid-major college team that got one 5-star recruit, and you're looking at it like, wow, that's pretty cool. And then you don't know anybody else on the roster. They're all just like weird transfers and players, like guys that you never heard of.
So they're like Rutgers of Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper were like combined into.
Correct.
They have a bunch of like seventh men on
They
their
were like
team.
Ben Simmons's LSU team.
Yeah. I mean, they have a bunch of seventh men. It's like, Gary Trent Jr. is fine. Like Taurean Prince is kind of fine. AJ Green is fine. Bobby Portis is fine. But none of them are good. Like they're not like top 5 players on a good team. So, and that's they're 3 through 7.
I think their starting point guard is Kevin Porter Jr. Jackson.
It is.
It
now.
is. It's not good. Things are about to go real sideways. Really
Remember when your team was built around Kevin Porter Jr.?
What if they brought in Russ?
Pretty sure their backup point guard
Russ.
is Sasa Micic too.
Yeah, I think my big takeaway from this show is that Milwaukee is significantly worse than I thought they were.
That's why, look, when we were trying to say who got the worst offseason, I said Milwaukee like very early on. I really think they're just awful. They're in a horrendous situation.
It's not good.
It's not good.
It's not good.
They are going to be paying Damian Lillard, right? They're going to be paying Damian Lillard for as long as SGA is getting paid on this new contract.
I mean, Lillard, basically, it's the Jabari Smith Jr. contract is the dead money on Damian Lillard.
Yeah.
They're almost exactly the same.
Almost the same.
When you start to quantify it that way, that is that like top 5 most insane swings that a team has ever taken.
They're basically paying $40 million for Miles Turner over the
Miles
next
Turner.
4 years.
50, it's really $50 million for Miles Turner. If you do it that way, it's 27 plus 22. So 49, 50. It's a lot.
Okay. We've gone long enough without talking about how one of the losers of the offseason so far has been Joe Dumars' New Orleans Pelicans, presented by Zion Williamson.
I have some thoughts about the Pelicans in a good way as someone who covers the Hawks.
In a good way.
On the other side of that trade.
I mean, no. To be fair, not to go for the Pelicans.
I was like,
For the Hawks.
Makes more sense.
I didn't know there was Pelicans Kool-Aid out there.
The Pelicans have made two very bad trades with the Hawks in the last 12 months. And the first one was like, I liked it more than everybody else did. The Dyson Daniels, DeJounte Murray trade. It worked out great for the Hawks. That was not like universally panned when it happened. This one was universally panned. Like I can't find a single person I've been trying for about a week now to find a single person that liked it. Haven't found one yet.
I have given this a lot of thought, Nick. It's worse than the Luka trade.
Whoa!
Wow. Now we've gone too far.
At the 40-minute mark, just an absolute bomb.
We found a single NBA media personality that says that a trade was worse than the Luka trade.
Hear me out.
So is your list Babe Ruth, the Hawks Pelicans trade, and then Luka, or what?
To be compared to Babe Ruth, that's cool. That was what the NBA.
That was such a great quote.
That was what Jason
Are
Kidd
the
said about
Pelicans
that.
going to give up AJ Dybansta next year to the Hawks?
I hope so.
They
be
gave
wild.
up an unprotected 2026 pick, the better of their own, which is gonna suck, and the Bucks, which we already knew was gonna stink.
We just went through their roster.
And they were like, yeah, but to move up to 10 spots to get Derek Queen, worth it. Not Cooper Flagg, not Dylan Harper, but I like Derek Queen fine. I hate him now. I liked him in the draft process. I'm like, this guy's gonna stink. Because Joe Dumars' draft history is horrible. He's the guy that took Darko.
Oof.
Mateen Cleaves. He's had some of the biggest busts in NBA draft lottery history. He does not draft well. He took Jeremiah Fears, way too high at 7, and then moved up 10 spots to get Derek Queen. These guys are gonna stink. They're going to be bad.
Yeah, but the Zero Fears jersey is going to sell them enough jerseys.
Yeah. The really fun thing about that is that not only did they just trade that pick for Derek Queen, the Hawks were like, you know what? We also want 23. We're going to have to take 23 as well. And they're like, okay, sure. We'll give you 23 back. Right. Why not?
If you want your guy.
At least the Mavericks got Anthony Davis, a player who we know has played in NBA games and has made all-star teams and has won a championship. We don't know if Derek Queen is going to be good. And you just gave up something that could legitimately be the number 1 pick, let's call it even a top 3 pick in a generational top 3 draft that people are talking about.
Yeah.
It is a horrible trade.
It's not impossible that Max Christie will have a better career than Derek Queen
That's
will.
100% true.
I'd say
The
it's
Mavericks
unlikely
at
because
least
the
walked
thing
away
with
from the
Derek
Luka
Queen-
trade with something. We have no idea if the Pelicans are going to walk away with this trade from this trade with anything.
The part that I think is really unfair is like Queen could have a really good rookie season and a really good career, and then but Zion gets hurt and this, there are 25 other things that could go wrong. They're sort of the Western Conference version of the Sixers, where the win range is probably 20, but 15 other things could go wrong with the Pelicans. They have a terrible season. They give up what turns into the third pick, and Derek Queen is a first-team All-NBA rookie. All of those things could happen.
I just think that with Derek Queen, the whole time in the pre-draft process, you talked about what a unique skill set that he is, and how it's going to take a unique set of circumstances for him to hit his ceiling. And I couldn't think of a worse front court for him to enter into to try to mascade his flaws and highlight his strengths than the New Orleans Pelicans.
Well, there was that brief bit of chatter, the Lakers are calling around, they're looking for any center they possibly can. They've inquired about Misi with the Pelicans, and why on earth the Pelicans would trade Misi after a really, really good rookie season, young
To make
player,
room for Derek Queen.
I guess, but why they would do that? And you're just sitting there and the answer is essentially, I don't know, Joe Dumars does stuff.
Yeah,
also,
I made a list of some of Joe Dumars' transactions over his career.
Oh, I'm ready.
Drafted Darko Milicic,
Type.
drafted Rodney White, drafted Mateen Cleaves, all in the lottery, all of them busts. When Rasheed Wallace he gave Rasheed Wallace and Allen Iverson these huge contracts. When they got off of those contracts, he used that money to sign Charlie Villanueva and Ben Gordon. They basically just had these two huge albatross contracts. Jackson Gatlin, you can look them up. But they had these huge, huge albatross contracts on their books for essentially a decade, and they couldn't make any moves. He traded Chauncey Billups for Allen Iverson when Allen Iverson was 33 years old.
Shout out.
This guy is the king of bad moves, and you'd think he would learn from all of that.
Legal pad.
I have a legal pad.
He's got
The amount of hate to pull out a yellow legal pad to write all those down.
I had to do a whole thing on this, and so it's awful. And he didn't learn anything. He learned nothing. He spent time in the league front office where ostensibly they'd be like, these are good NBA teams and these are bad NBA teams. And he was just like, no, not getting any of this.
When they were showing him the bad NBA teams, was it all just teams run by Joe Dumars? They were just like, this is bad. Don't do this again.
I feel like we didn't get Darko enough time.
And listen to Locked On Pelicans, whose podcast art is on the side of the Smoothie King Center right now. If you drive by, it's
pretty sick.
I swear to you, I wanted to talk. I wanted to do a crossover, and I said, you know what? It would be mean to Jake. I literally thought that the day after. I was like, do I even ask? It was like, you know what? I'm not going to ask Jake.
It would just be him trying to explain it and you laughing.
Basically,
Jake in tears by the second segment.
I basically had the yellow legal pad out on the draft night that Wes just pulled out, and I was trying to figure out why this was bad. Wait, is there a single way this could possibly be bad for the Hawks? The answer is oh no. This is all. I mean, it may not be great. Maybe the Pelicans win 40 games. I don't know. Maybe it's fine. But even then, by the way, if it's the 14th pick in the draft,
you just wait.
Their guards are DeJounte Murray, Jordan Poole, and Kevin and Fears, right?
And the other thing
Jose
is
Alvarado.
On top of it all, rookies are really bad. Usually, especially one and done rookies, and they just drafted two guys in the lottery that they're gonna probably play.
And I couldn't imagine a better vet for Jeremiah Fears than CJ McCollum, and a worse vet for Jeremiah Fears than Jordan Poole.
Yeah, you throw him in there. Yeah, and if he plays,
why did they do that trade?
They don't want the CBA guy around
because they're going for it, Wes.
what are they going for?
What?
They're doing their best. Okay.
You guys are gonna be. It's gonna be egg on your faces when Joe breaks out the press conference where the fans are finally starting to see the vision. That's all.
I had a good moment, and now I'm having a bad moment again.
Oh, you guys are a good team.
Hey, but Cooper Flag in Summer League will be our next.
You guys know that
show.
Cooper. Just go on and on. All right, that's a good spot to end after Brian took all the wind out of the sails.
Not mine.
Yeah, he sells DeAndre Ayton. Don't forget.
Go check out Go listen and watch DeAndre Ayton highlights all over YouTube. You can just search DeAndre Ayton.
I have one Ayton stat that I would like to share before we go.
Oh my god!
Because me and Brian are driving the DeAndre
The A train. We call it the A train.
The A train. Thank you for
A train did not end up doing well in the boys. I don't know if this murdered people.
List of centers to average at least 14 points, 3 offensive rebounds, 10 total rebounds, 1 block, and shoot 56% overall from the field.
The stat
last season. Domantas Sabonis, Ivica Zubac, and DeAndre Ayton. It's pretty good company.
Wow. That's the old Thaddeus Young graphic with Michael Jordan, LeBron James.
Don't ruin it, Ryan. Don't ruin it.
Thad Young was really good.
He was.
You're like,
Thad Young would start at center for these
really
Lakers.
good, or did he just not suck?
He might even be
which one was
DeAndre
it?
Ayton.
if you could choose between Thad Young and Jackson Hayes, who would you have taken?
I'm sorry,
I take Jackson Gatlin over both of them.
From his camp.
I want Iguodala. Okay, there we go. Now we can end.
The death ray pointed at the earth.
Give me Brandon Carlson.
Incredible. There you go. We could just end right there.